Hello. Hello. Well, I'm going to talk about work and be a little bit, I don't know how to be because it's just filming and thinking of the future, how boring it can be because one has to be average, talk normal people do, and be decent. I need a list of all the things that I shouldn't say. Also, how people get monetized. And I'm not interested in talking about, I don't know, things that people talk so they get more relevant and what people talk that everybody likes to click on. Interestingly, I will never talk about the things I click on because it's, it's a shame that I click on it. So, yes, I think of my children looking at me. I would love to look at my crazy videos, but I'm not with them, so I do not know what they're going to see. So they need to see me first before seeing a crazy video with some of my interpretations. As a writer, you have to create these characters and bring meaning through this information that you have built with all these character traits. So it works by itself. The story rolls by itself. Now, it is important to note that when you are working, some jobs are always the same. Some people do the same job for all their life. Some the multiple can comprehend what other people are doing for their job, since one embodies an entity or the entity is your name. So I wanted to open up about jobs, many jobs. I think people are too obsessed with their egos and they don't bring room for the rest of humanity to bring a garden where everyone can be orchestrating all of them, all of them, all, all of them, to debate, to compose, to train, to fight, to sharpen their minds like swords from both sides to go to the point. And that which is to the point in between these two sides, one needs to have narrow mind, very focused, as open as to the point to get some targets done on this earth. I have requested a few times to some people that are very powerful to step back and become masters and teach the people so they can or choose those who they like and they are already influencers and train them for the next 10 years with everything they know and they wish so they can become as an actor and the other one the director. It's not because I say so, it's because the rest of the world doesn't see, for example, Bill Gates as a man of respect. Many people, millions, 2 million, could go and click on his video, but they might despise. Why would he do such a things? And maybe those things are lies in the internet. But people believe it is if he created the coronavirus, if he's a crazy genius who has killed a lot of people, if many of the elite from they had all beliefs from decades ago where, and you really have to understand, if you had so much money you would really like to kill the majority of the world because it's disgusting. You really think from that perspective, of course. So I have talked with people that are normal as me, as to say, you are where you belong, so that's what you are, right? And I say, well, you know, from that perspective, and they all agree. They all say, yeah, it's true. It's actually cool. I mean, if you don't think as a mortal, yeah, but sometimes we have to act like mortals as well. And sometimes we can have time to shower and basket with the sun rays all naked in Ibiza. Not for everyone, but I guess for a woman is a little bit acceptable since we're used to see some partially nude art. It's a form of art, an aesthetic symbolizes nature and our human divine. But as a poor mortals, no, of course. We have to work, fulfill a task. Um, Sometimes it's not enough excitement as to so many years working on this and to sell it. And they steal and they put the metaverse. It's like, hello, there's a program here behind. You're missing everything. You're just looking at some female, but you're not looking at the program. So it's like I'm the obstacle trying to sell it. I'm the obstacle. I end up joking and telling stories that have nothing to do with this because it gets boring. I mean, after 2 years and 1 year, I'm not going to talk about Age Tudor because I think his ego will want to hear about himself. And I was thinking about it. Yeah, why don't you let yourself be known? But I think Prince William should be interviewed with his name Friedman. He interviews the Greek guys. I want to interview intelligent woman. It's a shame the woman go online. If you're intelligent, you wouldn't go online on any interview. But I wanted to say that I want to be a housewife. I don't want to talk about the job that I want to do. I would have to get some work eventually so I can send some gifts to my children. I already got gifts. I need to send to pay the I need to pay the postman, the post office. Yeah, that is good. I thought, why don't you just go and work in the post office? But they're not offering jobs. So that's beautiful. I already put it ready for Alice, and also with a lot of perfumes from Chanel. It's very nice. This one is really cute to stamp. There it goes. You can stamp and have a lot of Japanese words there. Super cute. And for her, I have the Parker pen. So it's gonna take some time to two boxes to send this. So I would like to do events, just parties. What I used to do that I like. I love to do a lot of jobs, but it gets tiring. Some jobs get tiring, like working with my mother 14 years. One day I separated and I just took the computer in front of the desk and I made it a good reason. The good thing about making stories and being a good storyteller is that people believe in your stories. If you're a good storyteller, yeah. I have tried myself, and sometimes people even believe things that are impossible to believe. You have to believe in them. You have to touch the reality of that story, not only with words, uh, how it feels, how heavy it is, the measure of the tone, and how you're going to make the poetry with more E, O's, A, and the sound of it to go up and down. How many commas and stops? Especially action. Action is a lot of fun because you are always keeping that mystery, and at the same time is not to awaken the person but to keep it on a state of alert because anything wrong could happen, not only you just look crazy telling this story, and sometimes you already measure it before with this characteristic is going to be not only action but supernatural. So you're going to talk about really crazy things that maybe don't exist. Well, we love all these paranormal stories. And in that moment, you have to believe it as if it was true or keep the doubts. There are a lot of ways to keep doubts in stories or to say as if it was a past life. And I think it was because it was so real, but always with the gravity of reality. And the gravity of reality is the gravity to this planet Earth, right there, hitting you. So sometimes you gotta feel the texture of the pain if the person is too vague or too eh, there's no gravity there. You could just like pushing a drunk. These ladies who are frustrated with their lives and they just get drunk. Typical like white lady. You can push them, fall down, no gravity. Not only they lack intimate gravity, but also kind of like, you love me, I will love you forever. Even if you don't love me, I am good for being a decoration. I am the best decoration. Ah, you like my nails and my hair? So we cannot judge others because we can all form all these characteristics. Um, People who come from these places and they hate whom they are or used to be, or they still are deep inside. So fake it until you make it. It becomes a lifestyle. And they hate when people do that. This is no progress. We could have right now a lot of pedestals and podiums for teenagers to talk and fight with each other and learn how to debate. Whatever, from green color to dark green. The slight difference from reason to no reason, from crisis to what is war. And these wars that inflict ourselves and people dying, press having to talk to their people. So, one single job, you have to learn so many things, but not just to be talking online like a politician or selling a religious cause because it's your business and you represent it, but as a lover who is making contagious to love. And with that is standing up and getting all these people to work as well. Not just by studying and practicing, but making money. I have debated with many people like mental illness. You give this and this and this to the person, and trust me, they don't need therapy or psychologist or psychiatrist. Yeah, my experience. Some people is, and sometimes once in a lifetime, might need once or twice in a lifetime, one could need a psychiatrist. It is said that every person could have one or two times a depression because it's normal the family members die. We all die. So it's part of life that sometimes things change. Sometimes it is healthy if they live a fulfilling life. They say if you live beyond 55, it's fine. You already live. You had all the things that you could live as a person. One doesn't need to live until 80. You had children, you studied, you met people, you were young, beautiful, you taste yourself being older. That's it. You can transfer something beautiful. The thing is that sometimes they are accidents, sometimes they are social problems as well. So life is not always perfect, and it's okay to. And sometimes people have severe mental illness and they have episodes um, that requires a lot of control with medication because it can only get worse. Many people get abused when they are mentally ill. I have seen that. They are vulnerable of abuse, but not only abuse, they work for free because some people make their delusions, they give their money away. It is not the mental illness itself, but what they're capable of doing without having a family care. And I have seen a lot of stories. So it is good for families to learn how to take care with things that are known and things that are unknown in our work as well, to develop new things that are unknown and to understand the basic needs of this world are more important than talking on YouTube or telling people how to be better. If people have food, job, let's just put it like that. If people have a job that where they can work and have their basic needs because they have a system where everyone is working, why don't you go and multiply this right now? Because listening is like dreaming or reading a book or watching a movie. It goes from one ear and walks out to the other side. Does some people get better? Well, because they could go to a store and buy a suit and they were too lazy. So they listen and say, hey, yeah, I have this money. I can go there and buy and go look good. And you know. Yeah, I can get paid in the gym and get a little more athletic. They can do it. It's not a big deal. But what about all these young people who could right now start generating jobs in other parts of the world where a group of brains can create a human interaction as if it is a machine and to target all this terrain? I do believe that systematically it can work for all the places in the world and basic centers of control where this information can go back and forth because it needs also to filter up and decide which sort of energy could be better in this part of the continent. We can work better with this. We have got these resources. We can ship these resources if you need them in this other continent. And from the other centers, they can get to filter what they found out that was the best as well. In a faster and stronger togetherness, where all these divisions don't matter anymore, and what is being passed to start to build up new stories that are targeted chapter by chapter. Those are jobs where you can generate more learning skills in your brain. How are you going to operate? How are you going to do business? Are you going to have tests for teenagers? For example, how are you going to allow teenagers to change their sex? That has to become illegal. If their parents are adoptive but they're gay, then the child is becoming transsexual, the teenager, because the parents are putting that in their brain, and because of love, they would do it because that belief becomes real. Um, they're going to lose their reproductive organs and have wounds which are cutting the energetical system to flow in the body. So we need to share more love so people can love themselves as they are. I can I can make 1,000,000,000 interpretations and characters, but I love myself. It doesn't mean that I need to do this. Just maybe I'm bored. I'm not with my family. I miss my teenagers. I miss Debbie. I love her so much. I nearly forgot what love was. She came here 1 month and a half ago and with her husband, and I was not used to having so much love. I told her, so I'm not used to be with people. Sorry, and she was offended because I don't go to her with her downtown. So yeah, I was kind of like. Also, I don't like to walk too much, and my pinky toe was broken, and I didn't want to. I don't think I was not aware that was going on. I was shocked from so much love. I forgot in these 6 years how beautiful it is to share with someone you love. So that is more important to care with one another in a physical, realistic, in the same scenario, and to be able to operate with the people that are around you and farther on, move on and trust this can happen. What is the need to copy another when you can honor another? We're on the year 2022. Well, this is agenda for 2023. Moving. So we go. I highly recommend the paper of Honobishi. The paper is delightful. If you have an inkish pen, the I'm not gonna talk about them, but there are a lot of to enjoy it. You have to have an inkish pen that the can. And if you can write with Chinese calligraphy better with this form of moving the brush. Also, there's a full school with the texture of the ink in the rice paper. You can spend years just to measure the water, the ink, and how it melts in the paper. That's so profound just to see the water dissolving in the paper and how the ink fusions with the water in the paper. How fast the stroke goes, where you stop, continue, where you go slow. That's a form of art. Um, Feels like magic. No, it's just a thing. It's just to work and talk, get monetized from talking. It would be nice to be older one day and see myself. And maybe one day somebody calls me so I can share the system for role play into virtual reality. They took my formula for the patent, so it's all the companies in one. It's gonna work one way or another. Um, it should be openly as well to the public. The public domain should see the debates about the metaverse, the multiverse, and all the concepts of reality. I do think that Jordan Peterson is the best person to talk about the realities and the mind, and he's renowned as a rock star, and he did it himself, creating all this admiration. H.E. Tudor is very good for talking on narcissism, but also on character traits. It's good to classify the classes. It is peculiar to understand from a higher perspective, a lower perspective, and the needs of fool, which is energy. For example, I brought these things, and when they came today, they made me feel so good. I felt really bad because giving this to Alice and not to Zane, and I brought this for myself. But Alice's birthday, they always get gifts together, so I'm gonna use it for myself, and I'm gonna get her something that is more for a teenager. This is more for a mother, I think. I think so. I wanted this for me, so I get up to work again. That's why I brought it, and I have my babies as soon as possible because I'm not good for dating, and in this country you have to date if you want a partner. So I think dating is ridiculous. You know when you like somebody, so this is not practical. You can work in the same thing and get to know each other, or just have fun with each other. There's no need to create all this. I mean, fantasies, I create a lot of stories and all these things, so I don't need to create fantasies or stimulate to just go somewhere. It's like taking a car to go to the movies. You can go faster, slower, you'll be there watching the movies. It doesn't change how you got there. Some people need that. I for certain people it's like you need to do that. You need to do that. Like I'd rather be alone because if I go dating, I won't like the person. Yeah, that's it's sad. When I was with my husband, he told me to wait, and I was wait for what? So we didn't do anything, and I was just well, if that makes you feel better. Of course, the average people don't know what they like. They need to date. They need to test. They need to verify. They need to go through security check. They need to know who your mother is and your father, what happened, what relationship your family has with this, where you come from. Maybe if you have the COVID passport, how much money you have in your bank account, for how many generations, how many traits of narcissism do you have, from what classes and ranks along your life, how much voltage are you willing to take? I mean, you can see it. This person cannot take the job. Just forget it. I'm not even gonna look in your curriculum. Just look at it and say, oh, it's a good specimen to have a child with. I mean, when you're too smart, you don't care about people's intelligence. If you gotta create children, you need someone who can take you away. That's for sure. Anyways, I want my children to know they can work something that is always gonna get tedious sometimes. You're there doing it. And if it's working for you, why not for others? Those characteristics we learn to count on them. They're important. I wanted to talk about this because I was talking in the bus with teenagers, and one of them who was next to me, he said, well, I don't want to be popular, I don't care. And I said, it is okay to be on your own because, and I told him, when I changed school, I didn't like these kids, and sometimes you find in a school people that are more like you because sometimes you are in a place where you don't think everyone is like you. And he was like, yeah, like they're so annoying. I could understand him immediately because he was smart, tall, he was introverted, but he was thoughtful and he paid attention, like an ear there. As I was talking about other things with the other teenagers, and then he got in the conversation because I didn't want to talk directly to him until I felt that he was in. no, because he was more like in his phone and his physical position was more to himself. So I told him, you don't have to be sympathetic, but sometimes you gotta know they have these character traits, like when you're picking your character in the video game and they're gonna have all these powers and tools and characteristics as well, and you're gonna play them. So you sometimes need to practice these skills, their tools. They can serve. And the mother next was she was yeah. You gotta use them at work. You gotta use them. Maybe you get sponsored. Maybe you get supported. You gotta prove you can be a leader sometimes. And to practice this can sometimes even save your job because everybody might fight to get your job. And the mother was, and I say, and any job is good or bad. I went to took the poorest perform lowest paid job to avoid that, and it's the same problem. Interestingly, so what could I what could I do to all these teenagers who I love to meet and they can speak and learn how to debate with each other and get to be jolly with the mothers so we can do events. That will be fantastic. It was tech teen, well, tech yourself. I was thinking, I was thinking how I'm going to do to get a little more conservative while talking in YouTube and having to refrain myself and tech myself. And then I was thinking how to tag oneself. What self would I represent if I want to continue with what I was already talking in a little more practical way that could just serve me right now? I don't want to work for anyone that is just following orders or their system. So it is good to listen, and the system is very good to follow because that's how we work. We all follow the same roles, the same coordination. We understand the position of each one at work, and that is beautiful. But what is boring is to be having a salary that doesn't allow you to work and grow, or you're just there to do a function. That I'm very creative, but to have my children with me is impossible like this, or trying to sell my work, or having a normal job. So, no matter how much you wish to grow, when you start to touch certain age, it's like you're not really excited about having to gather that discipline. There is no courage. You have done so many courageous things. So it's in so many accounts, so many addresses to have to regenerate, to have to recover, to have to rebuild again, to have to rebuild again, to have to rebuild again, and you can do it, and you can do it. And It's like in the Bible, you know, all these women, if they don't follow the men, they should be punished like Lilith. They should all be mistreated. So they need men to protect them. They need men to abuse them or protect them. And every man does that in communion to keep the woman serving them. You are a good woman because you serve me. You serve man. And you are bad, useless. Even if you have the scientific revolutionary ideas, we'll take it for free unless you can serve as decoration. There you go. Come, serve as decoration. One thing is to love the arts. Another thing is to be useful. So it's about being selfish. It's about being narcissist, paying all your attention in yourself, getting all the energy for yourself, just talking and talking for yourself, just bringing an image and connections for yourself. And if you are all men, it's not better, it's the way things are and the way things should be and the way things have always been. And that is the story that is being played on and on. So, what is the performance of a work where you're going to work? They take everything from you, or they insult you, or they want to make stories because they deserve to have taken your work. This is the shared vocabulary of man among men, and this is the thin line where I have a work that is for the rest of the world, and it's not unconditional. It has conditions like paying my work and getting ready for the big leagues because it's going to be so risky. You're going to be running here and there everywhere. How are you going to make your team better and stronger than the other continent? Once you open the doors of what you got here and there, and how are you going to exchange the 30 people you got to start this year? It could be already done, this deal. That was this week. It's Friday at 22:02 p.m. So that was this week. I was talking about agreements and law. We have an agreement, so we are sharing the same law and system of belief. You had already the tech titans around the world. They already say yes. Start talking about it. So what? There was a war. Now we have this problem to fix. What does this have to do with this? Well, just let United Nations figure it out. Why USA can do wars and Russia cannot do wars for their own lands. Talk about it. But at least have this agreement. We all think under this law, very basic laws. We're putting our self together for these cybernetic laws. They're very main. We will put all the clauses later on. Or we have for cybernetics, for the metaverse, multiverse that doesn't belong to Bill Gates or the Facebook guy, unless they want to destroy themselves. And if the multiverse moves on, because they seem to be going on that way, on that road that is day free 2023. So, well, got my agenda ready. That should work. I wanted to give it to my daughter as well, but I think she could get another. I think this one is the prettiest of all. I don't know. So I would love to talk about values, and I'm going to celebrate the world in the next weeks and months. And I'm going to start talking for each week for a country. I've studied on the lockdown countries, so I'll pick these countries to talk about, because that's why it was designed to talk about countries. There were not just words, this was for mansions into villages. How people would talk in these interviews about the same word, talking all this week. So this week was about agreements and a law that it defines both sides. We can be different from multiple infinite ways, but we do have an agreement where we have that affinity, and that thought process is loyal. There is a law. We think in this way now. We agree. That makes our bond stronger for our teenagers, for our youth, the ones who are in the 20s, on their 20s. They can be shipped to study and work at the same time. There's nothing wrong. Instead of going to the gym, building a university and studying right there. I wish I could be with all these teenagers. Um, Realized that I wanted to feel they can do it. And I want mothers to know their children can go to university if they believe they're the best for their son or daughter being here in London. So I joke about, hey, they're not in America. They're not being, gunshots in the schools. So they were all laughing in the bus, like, oh, we shouldn't laugh about that. And they're like, yeah, but it's kind of funny, but it's not funny. Oh, Canada, they take a lot of crystal meth. They don't know these things, so I didn't talk about it. Thanks God they don't even know what is crystal meth. So there are people from Brazil, Morocco, black people who were born here from India, the other Philippines, and two workers that maybe were from Leicester, can't pronounce that. So, well, you have all the world here. They laugh about it. I want them to love where they are and appreciate that it's hard at the beginning, but if you change your mindset, you can get to enjoy those little things that bring you together and enhance you. You become the best out of you. Well, are you doing the best for the qualities you have with people? Are the best heads of this world talking about how are they going to create a human machine to create all this money. The program must be getting ready for the credit. How are you going to pay this credit back? How are you going to pay this credit back? At least from little to little. If you are making a mansion into a village, it's easier to control because you live in the village. So it is control. You're making this building for you and this building, and we're getting these foods. So this building is for the village, this building is for you. So getting to have that credit, the form of credit, that is better than making a new computer. It can work for everyone around the world. And people that work in supermarkets can make their own mansion into a village in a lifetime, every year investing, every month a little bit. So, and sharing with internet. Who knows, your neighbors might also want to join. So, we can keep learning until the day we die, and at least know that once this is working, it works by itself. At least from a few this year, the air shots. Probably Prince William doesn't care about people or the environment. He would have sent me a lawyer for McDonald's if they care. They did care in the parliament about this, and the people who were in charge with Prince William, and they went to see all the farmers, not all, but some, when the lockdown started with Catherine, so the farmers don't lose their money because they were bringing cattle from the Amazons cheaper for McDonald's, Tesco supermarkets. Not easy. And other companies, these all these places they were burning in the Amazons, probably in Africa and Australia too. All these fires from 2 years ago. So it's not easy to control. You have the people from the Amazons, and you have people who are working with them. I have a family member who works in contact with. So as long as it's synchronized, and how are we going to create a dialogue so we can form these laws opening up, not just from the basic rights that we have today, from cybernetics to a fantasy world, because we need that imagination as well, and also to have a little imagination of what spirituality could be. What could it there be that it makes ourselves transported into any figure that you had studied to believe in is a getaway? But that is not it. That is only a translation of the divine. There's nothing more I wish to be with Alice and Saint for this Christmas. So it might be very difficult. Sometimes it feels too bad, just bad, really bad. And sometimes I gotta burn all that energy and try to create a third body that is moving with them in my mind through what I believe they are with their friends, that they have good family. that they have things they love from where they are. I still think it's not fair. So I'm not here to judge myself or anyone, just to get moving with my work and see how I program myself to check oneself. There should be enough characteristics to build this form of intelligence that branches from the highest brains and capabilities with resources and contacts to the rest of the world, respecting other nations and continents and cultures and forms of political belief. This could be happening right now as we finish this week and month of November. So we enter a month of prosperity to start celebrating Christmas. President of Ukraine has to stop this war, and if he's open for negotiations of peace, he should say it as it's his only theme, not just throwing it. Because every day that he is prolonging this peace deal, he is responsible for all the deaths now. Before was Putin, but he already started to ask for a peace deal. It's not been televised enough. It's been televised in Venezuela. It's not been televised in CNN that Putin asked for a peace deal. And it's been weeks. So Zelensky says something. I knew that from also another Venezuelan reporter. So that is too much ego from the West. Uh, no matter how good they look, when you hear the news, it's disgusting because they are not bringing. It's convenient for them to hold the war because of the money they get from the publicity. 'Cause they want to win. So think about yourself. Now, any person that has guns, they were gonna have to return these guns. They're gonna become illegal. You cannot buy them. You cannot have them. And if you really want to become the president of the United States of America, you have to stop this transsexual for teenagers. They need to pass. They need to pass through their puberty and understand the changes. There is not enough love. There is not enough love. It's not only rape. Some mothers are shouting all day long, and they're so nasty. The A girl might never want to be like her mother, or a boy would never want to be with a woman. It's not just sexual abuse, but abuse. We don't live in a village anymore where women are together and they take care of each other and they look beautiful for their man. So the man feels, women love to feel beautiful, even if they're alone. And they love to do things that are silly, meaningless, make the house beautiful for the kids. They take care together for the kids, do events together. We have to recover all these things because we've been moving too much with all the industry, technology, capitalism things, working to pay taxes. Now women pay taxes as well. So there are many issues where we need to go back to what that love is transferring. Be responsible in that essence without having to pay for love and not disassociating that you're paying a woman for her work. Yeah, I can give you a lesson of any class, but this is my work. This is my work. You're gonna get it one day. Attitude, you should stop talking about Meghan Markle. It is sad because you're very handsome in real life and you could be talking and promoting your work in real life, which is very important for the environment. You could have an interview right now with Friedman. Yeah, I don't want to be popular. I'm just bored here. The only thing online that I will click on, and I cannot see Jordan Peterson because my computer doesn't link to that website. So I don't have it on here, I think. What is the name? Lex Friedman. Yeah, for Prince William. Go have an interview with Lex Friedman before the earth shots. Ah, why not an interview? Looks too cheap to have an interview with CNN or Fox. It's 2222. The year 2022. It's cool. Friday night. It'd be nice to go and put fire on the fireplace right now. You shouldn't be hiding before behind a microphone at least once in a year that is not Christmas. Just come and talk every time you have advanced something for the environment awards. I think you could talk about virtual reality and character traits, but character traits for the construct, because that's what every being on this planet has created, that shape and form to defend itself, to create, to get that fuel, all those narcissistic traits that are the construct of how we are the way we are. That's our construct. Spanish, why we are like this. So much history in our DNA and our protein building it. But of course, I'm not going to talk about other people. Um, I am guilty of watching people talking about other people. That's for sure. I would love to be with my mother right now. Um, just to tell her thank you for this life every day. So she feels as good as she treated me. It's quite something. It's quite something to ever think that your words become real because they have been categorized as words that create energy and abundance for many people who like to get on board. They're smart enough to say, hey, one, two, three, four, five, let's go. We have more than that, more. Let's do it. I think that until the tech giants have not met with some of China and agreed, Elon Musk is a very important piece because he's like in between for the people and independence. He's kind of like the best mediator between worlds right now. There is not too much in the left, not too much in the right, a little more in the right. So this opera and symphony can start to resound, and then maybe they will say, "Hey, Patricia, so Johnny, let's talk about spirituality now. Here's your deal. Here's your money. Tell us about the multiverse." Patricia is my legal name. They're in the contract. Patricia Placencia. Yes, it's better you call me Sujani, because that's what friends call me, Sujani. It's soft. It is soft. My mother calls me Sujani. My sister calls me Sujani. When I name my children, I wanted them names you could whisper in the ear so their husband or wife or lover could murmur the phonetic of the sound, phonetic of the name. Uh, some names you cannot. You could put kind of like shh, shh. Also, this thing of Patricia, Placencia, Shia, Placentia, Psha, Psha, Psha. It's ridiculous. It's too long. It doesn't even fit for Twitter. It's too long. Um, I want to be called R1A because it's so long. People can forget about it. Just forget it. Forget it. Then I thought, well, why not just be, all these people making YouTube videos, you're watching all these videos from other people. What are you going to do besides getting money? Yes, I'm going to get my children. So look into jobs, characteristics. I'm going to study. After studying movie edition, Final Cut Pro, I'm not even editing or anything. Get to imagine the I don't want to have followers or viewers, so cannot monetize without having uh, never wanted it to be have to be very bored. Oh, just join the conversation. It's like, yeah, that's what you do when you come back from work. See your family in your home. That's interesting. Bye. End stream. There you go. One gets to learn this and be more mechanical. Bye.